I remember the day like it was yesterday, the moment I stood at the threshold of my childhood home, the place that once meant warmth and safety, only to be met with cold silence. My heart raced as I knocked, hoping for a change that never came. The door didn't open to welcome me. It opened to reveal everything I feared about my family's rejection. That moment marked the end of my life, as I knew it. No longer was I the child they adored. The betrayal cut deeper than anything I could have imagined. My own parents, the ones I had trusted and loved, turned their backs on me. It wasn't a sudden decision, but a slow, steady unraveling of all the things I had held dear. Now, I find myself standing far away, physically and emotionally, from the home I once knew. What had I become? Who was I now, without their love and approval? More importantly, what could I do to show them that their betrayal didn't define me? What came next shocked them all, and maybe, just maybe, it will shock you too. Growing up, I was always the quiet one, the kid who could blend into the background, content to be loved from a distance. My parents, especially my father, were the anchors in my life. There was never a moment when I doubted their love, at least, not until that one evening when the world tilted beneath my feet. It wasn't always this way. We had our moments, family vacations, birthday celebrations, and evenings spent laughing over dinner. I'd always admired my father's strength, his unwavering determination to keep everything in control. My mother, on the other hand, was the warm heart of the house, always ready to listen, to comfort, to nurture. Together, they formed a perfect unit, and I was the product of that love, or so I believed. But life isn't as simple as it seems. As I grew older, I began to see cracks in the foundation. Their expectations were suffocating, their dreams for me towering over mine. I wanted to pursue my own path, but it was never enough. Their vision for my life clashed with mine, but I tried to comply. I tried to meet their standards, hoping that if I did, they would love me even more. But that was the first mistake. Then came the betrayal. It wasn't a grand gesture, but something far more subtle. They rejected my aspirations. They told me that my dreams were foolish, that I would never amount to anything, that my success in finding my own voice was nothing more than an embarrassment. I was left standing there, feeling less than nothing. I tried to salvage our relationship, but the wounds were too deep. The emotional rift grew until there was no going back. I was alone. I had no idea where my life would go from there, but I knew one thing. I wasn't going to let their rejection define me. I made a decision then and there that I would build my future, no matter how lonely or difficult it would be. The moment of rejection became my catalyst for change. In the days and weeks that followed, I felt the sting of their words like an open wound. It was a battle within me. Doubts, guilt, and anger warred in my mind. How could they have done this? How could they have turned their backs on me so easily? The questions ate at me, gnawing away at the very foundation of my self-worth. But something changed inside me. I realized that I couldn't live my life in the shadows of their expectations. I couldn't spend my days asking for validation from people who didn't see my worth. So I decided to build a new version of myself, one that wasn't defined by their rejection. That I started by surrounding myself with people who believed in me. Friends who didn't judge me for my past, colleagues who encouraged me to follow my own path, and mentors who showed me the power of resilience. Slowly, I began to rebuild the pieces of myself that had been broken. I worked harder, learned new skills, and found success in places I never thought possible. I took small steps at first, reconnecting with old friends, exploring new hobbies, taking a leap of faith in my career. But every step forward came with its own challenges. I wrestled with moments of doubt, wondering if I was just fooling myself. There were nights when I lay awake, replaying the harsh words my parents had said to me. "You'll never make it. You're nothing without us." Those words haunted me, but they also fueled my determination. Despite the setbacks, I refused to stop. I sought out knowledge, expanded my network, and built a career on my terms. I didn't need their approval anymore. What mattered was the progress I made for myself. But even as I grew, the emotional scars of rejection remained. There were still moments when I questioned if I was doing the right thing. Would they ever be proud of me? Would they ever see the person I was becoming? My internal struggle was compounded by the people around me. Friends who had once been a part of my life seemed distant, unsure of how to support me. But I was no longer the person who needed constant validation. I learned to stand alone, to trust myself. Then there was the moment that truly changed everything, a professional achievement that proved to me, and to everyone else, that I had what it took. I had earned my place. I had succeeded without their help or approval. But it wasn't just the external success that mattered. It was the internal growth that had made me who I was today. And with that realization came the knowledge that I was ready for the next step. The confrontation was inevitable. The moment when I would face my parents, not as the child they had rejected, but as the person I had become. I wasn't seeking their forgiveness. I didn't need it. I needed them to see that their betrayal had not destroyed me. It had made me stronger. It wasn't supposed to happen like this. The moment I walked back into that house, I didn't expect to feel anything. But the memories hit me like a tidal wave. The laughter, the warmth, the sense of belonging. I almost wanted to turn around and leave, but I couldn't. I had come this far. My father was the first to speak. "What are you doing here?" His voice was cold, distant. It stung more than I cared to admit. But I stood my ground. "I'm here to show you who I've become," I said, my voice steady despite the emotions swirling within me. They didn't say anything at first. My mother's eyes flickered with something. Regret, maybe. But she didn't speak. It didn't matter. I had come to prove a point, not to seek their forgiveness. "You thought I was nothing," I continued, my voice gaining strength. "You thought I couldn't succeed without your approval. But here I am. I'm living my life on my terms. I don't need you to tell me I'm good enough anymore. I know who I am." The silence was deafening. I could see the shock in their eyes, but there was no apology, no acknowledgement of their wrongs. My father's expression hardened, as though he was trying to process what was happening. My mother shifted uncomfortably in her seat, avoiding my gaze. They didn't apologize, and in that moment, I realized I wasn't waiting for them to. The apology I was seeking wasn't for their actions, but for the way they had held me back. And I no longer needed it. I didn't need them to validate me. I had already found my worth. "You didn't break me," I said quietly, my words firm. "I've built myself up. And now, I'm stronger than I've ever been." The aftermath was quieter than I had expected. My parents didn't apologize, but they didn't stop me either. I had made my point, and for once, I didn't feel the weight of their judgment hanging over me. The house, which had once felt like a prison, now felt like a place I had outgrown. As I walked away from that house, I couldn't help but feel a sense of peace. The confrontation had been everything I needed it to be. I had shown them who I had become, but more importantly, I had shown myself. I had come full circle from the person they rejected to the person I had always been meant to be. Looking back, I realized that their betrayal had been the catalyst for my growth. It had forced me to break free from their expectations and find my own voice. I wasn't just surviving anymore, I was thriving. And for the first time in years, I felt proud of who I had become. I wasn't broken. I was whole. In the end, their rejection didn't define me. It was my response to it that made all the difference.